we have breaking news, new developments in the trial of Karmelo Anthony, a young man who viciously stabbed another young man, Austin Metcalf, in the heart at a high school track meet. Immediately following the situation with the stabbing, you saw an outpour of sympathy from the black community on behalf of Karmelo Anthony. For one reason or another, black folks threw away all their common sense and said, you know what? If someone pushes you, you have the right to stab them in the heart until they're dead. The same black people who will literally say that a police officer who shoots a criminal who's going for his gun, approaching him with a weapon, brutally beating the police officer, deserves every benefit of the doubt, every single allowance for that person to decide to do the right thing. The police officer should shoot him in the leg. The police officer should just allow themselves to get beat up and attacked. The police officer should be patient. The police officer should be understanding. This is black folks. This is us. The police shoot someone, they need to exercise extreme patience. Karmelo Anthony stabs Austin Metcalf in the heart. You know what? That young white kid got what he deserved. It doesn't matter if it was a push, shove, or pinch. Karmelo Anthony was totally in the right to brutally murder him at a track meet where no weapons were allowed. He was over in the other people's tent. Shouldn't have been over there. You know what? The rules are suspended on an arbitrary basis. Whenever black folk want to suspend the rules, we suspend it in favor of whoever we like for that day. And whenever we want to implement the rules, we implement them based on whoever we don't like for that day. So these same people came out, gave this dude hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Donated it to his legal fund. Basically, we're like, it doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. This guy right here is going to get our money. And they really believed that them sending money was going to stop this moment where this guy is going to be tried for the murder of Austin Metcalf. And it didn't stop that moment. It bought him a little bit of time. I'll say that, but it didn't stop it. So we knew this day was inevitable. But today, if you're following me up into this point, please do. I'm going to give you a twofer because there are two things that I really need the people watching this live stream to consider about two different cases. One, no black jurors in the Karmelo Anthony trial. Everyone's tripping about that. Everyone's going up about that. How could they have a trial with no black jurors if he's supposed to be tried by a jury of his peers? Blah, blah. That's exploding right now. Every race baiter on the internet is seizing on the opportunity to portray this as a racist trial because there's no black jurors. Oh, there were 3 teachers struck down, all this stuff. There's a lot more to that than people are admitting right now, and we're going to get to the bottom of that. Now, 2, there is a blind spot when it comes to this situation involving the murder, the vicious murder of the young Belton boy, Cyrus Belton, the young man who was shot in the back by Rick Choi after being chased out of Rick Choi's supermarket or store where Rick Choi and his son thought young Cyrus Belton stole something out of the store, and they chased him down. He was shot in the back by Rick Choi, and it turned out that he hadn't stolen anything. We talked about that last night. What we're going to talk about tonight is why are African American people, particularly women, why are they calling for a race war? Why are they talking about we need soldiers and everything else to fight because we tired of this and our kids are at risk and we're at risk? And there's a very interesting question that I'm going to ask every single black person tonight who's watching this. I'm asking every single person, period, who's watching this. And you don't want to miss that question because I'm about to absolutely destroy that narrative with one question. One question. So stick around from that, right? Okay, so let's go first to the situation with Karmelo Anthony. No black jurors selected in the Karmelo Anthony trial. You kill someone And then you go to trial and you want to cry about the circumstances. The time to cry and complain, the time for black folks to, complain was when that boy stabbed that boy in the heart. That was the time for black people to say, man, look, things might not go your way, young brother. So you better be ready for whatever might come. So we're going to get to this. You guys said I use Fox News too much, so today we're going to use CBS. That's all good. I ain't tripping. The news is the news as far as I'm concerned. Let's do this.
Karmelo Anthony murder trial. This evening, defense lawyers question some final eliminations of prospective jurors. As J.D. Miles updates us now, a judge has now made a decision for that jury pool.
The jury has been seated in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial, but not without drama. The defense objected to the prosecution using some of its strikes to eliminate 3 prospective jurors who were qualified and were black. The defense cited legal rulings and tried to overturn the strikes, but Judge John Roach overruled the objection, and a jury of 12 people and 6 alternates will start hearing evidence tomorrow after a final day of questioning today. Inside the Collin County Courthouse, the process of selecting the men and women who will fill these 12 seats in the courtroom of Judge John Roach continued behind closed doors. Karmelo Anthony appeared on a live camera feed, sitting at a table with his attorneys wearing a dark suit and tie, while his attorney, along with prosecutors, continued the work of finding a jury that would give him a fair trial. When prosecutors asked prospective jurors if media coverage of the case has led them to form opinions, several admitted that it had, with one replying, "I don't know if it's going to affect me, but I can't tell you those thoughts are not inside my head." Another prospective juror, who identified as an educator in Frisco ISD, where both the defendant and victim attended separate high schools, said, "This is close enough to home that I'm not confident that I could be completely fair." Potential jurors were also asked if the age of the 19-year-old defendant, who was 17 when authorities say he fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet, would influence their judgment, as well as his race. One prospective juror, who prosecutors identified as African American, said he would have a hard time putting a brother in jail. Anthony's attorneys plan to argue that the defendant stabbed Metcalf, who was unarmed, in self-defense after an altercation.
Now, I want to rewind that because those of us in the back need to understand something that I don't know why we do this as black people. Why do we conveniently ignore the facts? Was the jury selected based on racism? No, it was not. There were many black qualified people who were selected to be jurors. Black people let Karmelo Anthony down because instead of being intelligent, if you really don't want to see this young man go to jail, well, you should get on the jury so you can be the one juror objecting to the ruling. So guess what? You will have a hung jury. Even if one juror objects to the ruling, to the verdict, you have a hung jury and they will retry the case. Or everyone might say, hey, I'm ready to get the hell out of here. Whatever you say, we're going to do it. So when given the opportunity to fight for Karmelo Anthony for real, in a way that actually will matter, black people drop the ball. Because what I'm going to tell you about a lot of black folks, a lot of us, too many of us, we do not like responsibility. We don't like to be responsible for anything. That is a lot of black people's worst nightmare, being held responsible for the outcome of something. Why do you think in our communities we let people shoot up the community and do drugs and stuff and don't say nothing? I didn't see nothing, because we don't want to be blamed if the outcome doesn't end up being the outcome that we want, right? They don't want to be on the jury because they don't want to hear evidence, see evidence that might actually make them say, you know what? Karmelo Anthony was totally wrong, and I have to find him guilty. That's what it really is. I don't want to send a young brother to jail. Well, don't send him to jail. Say, I don't think he's guilty. Black folks gonna fight for you with this. But they never gonna fight for you with these. The pen and paper. They never gonna fight for you when it really matters. They're going to talk all day about how racism this, racism that, racism this and that. And then when it's their chance to fight against this racism that they're claiming to see and be afraid of, they run away. This is like when black people say, well, that couldn't have been me back in slavery. Because no, you wouldn't have. You would have went and picked that cotton like everybody else, because we don't want to take responsibility for the outcome. We look, black folks need white folks to tell, a lot of black folks need white folks to tell them what to do and tell them what to think. The white liberal told black people, defund the police. That's the only reason we got on board with defund the police. Then when the city went to shit, we said, well, we didn't do it. It was the white liberals who defunded the police. Now crime is rampant and we don't want to do nothing that might stop it, because we don't like unguaranteed outcomes, a lot of us. And if you black, you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm going back to where they had black jurors who were qualified, asked them if they wanted to sit on this boy's jury, and they denied him like Peter denied Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus said, before the cock crows 3 times, you will deny me. And that's what Jesus was saying then was, he said, when it comes down to it, y'all riding with me, but when it comes down to it, you're going to abandon me. And that's what black people did to Karmelo Anthony. That's why way back when they was sending the money, that was blood money. That was money that say, look, we ain't really going to do nothing for you, but we going to start a GoFundMe and send you a little bit of coin. That was blood money. That was payoff money. We going to pass the collection plate around, so when push come to shove, when the rubber meet the road and we got a ride for you, we could dip out the back door and be like, well, we gave you some money. Let's play. Let's play it.
It's their judgment, as well as his confident that I could be completely
Right here.
those thoughts. Media coverage of the case has led them to form opinions. Several admitted that it had, with one replying, I don't know if it's going to affect me, but I can't tell you those thoughts are not inside my head. Another prospective juror who identified as an educator in Frisco ISD.
Wait, so you got in front of these white folks and told them, well, the media coverage is going to affect the way I rule. If I really didn't want Karmelo Anthony to go to jail, which I want his ass to go to jail. I want him to go to jail for life, because what he did was a heinous act. Well, maybe not life. Give him 20 years. He'll still be young. He'll be, 40 years old or whatever. But here's my thing. If you truly cared about this young black man and wanted him not to see jail, would you not sit on that jury so you can sit there and fight for him so he doesn't spend the rest of his life in prison? If they're as racist as you say they are, it's like you handed them over to the KKK. Right? That's what you're saying. That's what black people convince people around the world. We living next door to the Klan. They hunting us down at night. But you might as well string the boy up yourself, because you won't even sit on a jury to help him fight for his life. I tell y'all all the time, black folk talk all this mess, and 99% of us won't even miss work to come see about you. We'll claim we supporting you, but 99% of us will not even miss work to come see about you. If you go jury duty, you still gonna, you can miss work and nothing happens to you. Listen to what they said. I got to let y'all listen to this mess again.
Where both the defendant and victim attended separate high schools, said this is close enough to home that I'm not confident that I could be completely fair. Potential jurors were also asked if the age of the 19-year-old defendant, who was 17 when authorities say he fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin.
Wait, so these people saying, these black folks, I'm not sure if I can be completely fair. So black people are literally admitting that they know what Karmelo Anthony did was wrong. They know it was not justified, but they done took us through 10 months of bull crap. While they sat up and made his daddy and mama and these lawyers, these race-baiting lawyers rich, they done took us through all these months of bull crap instead of just coming out initially and saying, you know what he did was wrong. Hopefully he'll get manslaughter. Hopefully, he won't do too much time in jail. But what he did was wrong. I am black. I love black people. I do. Maybe I'm a little partial to black people, but what I'm going to tell you about my own people, we love wasting people time. We love bullshitting until the point where the rubber meets the road, and then we want to come with the honesty. We are chronic time wasters. We have something called Negro stalling tactics, where we sit up and find immature ways to waste people time before we inevitably have to admit what everybody knows is true. This is why when people get money, black people, they leave the black community, not because they don't like black people. They leave because they don't got time for bullshit. I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to open a business. I'm trying to make some money. I don't got time for a bunch of people who will blatantly lie to your face and tell you that they believe something. And then 3 years later, after the situation has crashed and burned, they say, well, I always knew it wasn't going to work out. Who plays like that? This is somebody, life in your hands. You really had our community at each other's necks. Black folks was talking about race war, talking about rioting, doing George Floyd 2.0, destroying stuff. All for them just to come in the end and say, well, I basically know that he's guilty. This is the same situation with George Floyd. Get any black person in the room and be like, do you really think George Floyd was worth burning down the whole city of Minnesota? They'll tell you no. But during the time, in the moment, they was screaming, running down to the city centers, looting and doing all that. But they knew in the back of their mind what they was doing was wrong. We know better. And that's why you got black folks like me who are not going to play games with black folks. You know what it is, and you know what it ain't. And you're not dumb. Black people are highly intelligent, but many of us are highly manipulative because we live in a manipulative community, society, where we always trying to get over on each other. And we'll get over on anybody who's not smart enough to see it and speak up about it or avoid it, right? Black folks tried to get over on white folks in this situation, and it didn't work. White folks like, all right, come on, sit on the jury then. I ain't got time today, boss.
Metcalf at a track meet would influence their judgment, as well as his race. One prospective juror who prosecutors identified as African American said he would have a hard time putting a brother in jail. Anthony's attorneys plan to argue that the defendant stabbed Metcalf, who was unarmed, in self-defense after an altercation.
Well, you're going to have a hard time putting a brother in jail, but you're not going to have a hard time sitting and watching a jury of all white people put bro in jail? We are not serious, man. We are not serious. I'm telling you, what black folks are doing in America that we call politics or political activism, this is a manipulation game. We will destroy this country before we admit that the truth is the truth and that a lie is a lie. Bro, okay, I'll tell you one thing, like the Epstein files, for example. You got black folks running around the Epstein files. Ask them, have you read any of the Epstein files? Have you picked up any of the Epstein files and actually read what's in there? They'll lie to you. Yeah. Then you go, man, I didn't really read that shit. It's a game to us. It's a game to us. And then when making light or playing a game with something serious backfires, we the victim. If you don't want Karmelo Anthony to go to jail, if you truly think bro is innocent, why wouldn't you want to sit on the jury to defend his life? Guys, if you disagree with me, the link is in the comments. But I promise you no black person is clicking that link. I promise you that. Because if they come up here, unless they agree. But if they disagree, they're not clicking that link because deep down inside, they really agree. They just can't say it because they don't want to be banished by the black community or lack thereof. It happens every day. Go on TikTok. Get in a chat with a bunch of black folks. You could be speaking all the truth in the world. Black folks will pay money. They have this thing on TikTok where they'll buy a large donation, like a galaxy or something, just to get you taken off the panel so you can't come back up and speak. Go up there and talk truth. Go up there and talk about the black abortion rate and how we need to stop aborting our babies and stuff. They will pay for 10 galaxies to get you down. Because we just don't, it could be the truth and we know it's the truth, but we just don't want to hear it. We want to live in fantasy land. We want to live in a land where your actions don't lead to consequences. We want to live in a land where all the outcomes are guaranteed. You know why black people were very susceptible to slavery? Because all the outcomes were predictable. As long as you don't disobey massa, you won't get beat. If you go work hard in the field, it's going to be some slop and cornmeal waiting for you at the end of the day. Massa gonna feed you. He gonna make sure you got somewhere to eat, live. He gonna make sure that you got some clothes to put on your backs. Even if it's rags, he might even make sure you got some boots so you can stand out. You don't gotta stand out there raw-toed in the dust. But it was predictable. And why do you think black folks beg for the same circumstances under the Democrat Party today, under socialism today? Black folks love that slave plantation. They love when someone is going to say, look, we going to take care of you so you ain't got to think about taking care of yourself. All you got to do is like what Massa did to you back in the day. Just keep pushing out little black babies so they could become dependents and be slaves under our system and go get out in them fields and work for nothing but what we think you should have. Why you think you got every black person screaming, we hate capitalism? You know why black people hate capitalism? We hate capitalism because there are no guaranteed outcomes in capitalism. We are risk averse. We are risk averse. We don't like the idea of something happening that we can't predict. And if that means we got to live like slaves, so be it. Because slavery is very predictable. Being on welfare is very predictable. That EBT gonna hit every month on the 7th like clockwork. That Section 8 housing, your rent always going to be $13 a month. And you can always find a way to scrape up $13 or $20 a month, right? Predictable. Go take the person off of Section 8 and tell them, okay, now your rent is $1,800 a month. Bro, they're going to damn near commit suicide. They're going to damn near drink bleach. How I'm supposed to pay $1,800 a month? And then and if you're a regular person who's normally you work, you like $1,800 ain't even a lot of money. But to them, it's the end of the world simply because it's not predictable, simply because there's some risk involved. Hey, I might not get the $1,800. Listen, you could call me a coon all you want to. Come up here and tell me I'm wrong. You need to go read that book by Thomas Sowell, Black Rednecks, because poor whites and blacks have a very similar way of thinking. Go look at the movie $1 Million Baby with Hilary Swank. Remember when she got rich off of boxing? And then she sent her mama money and all this stuff. And she said, don't do this for me because they're going to cut me off the welfare. And she looking at her mom like, bro, you don't need no welfare. As much as these black people swear they don't like white people, as much as they swear they can't stand white people and white people is racist, ain't it funny how they act just like the poorest of whites when it comes down to it? Ain't it funny how they talk all damn day about racism, but when given the chance to stand in the face of perceived racism and defend a young black man, what do? They run away. I don't want to deal with it. This Karmelo Anthony situation exposed black people worse than body cams. The same body cams black folks screamed and marched to get on the police, all it showed was black folk be out here acting a fool. The same black people who, he's innocent and that boy shouldn't, all over the internet. Y'all remember? The internet is undefeated. Let's rewind 6 months ago, a year ago. Black folks was on here going crazy about this situation. Ooh, I wish I could be on that jury. Excuse me. Ooh, I wish I could meet Austin Metcalf Daddy so I could beat his ass. Now you got the opportunity. Now you have the opportunity to make it so that young man walks free. And what did you do? You hung his ass out to dry. But look in the comments. They'll call me a coon. Oh, you a good boy. No, the coons are the ones who act like they had Austin Metcalf's back. I mean, Carmelo Anthony's back. And then when given the opportunity to make sure he walks free, they abandon him. At least if I was out here acting like a fool, pretending like I support him, I would have been right on that jury. Yep, put me on there. I'm going to be the one little black speck in the bowl of milk like a thorn in their damn side. Nope, I don't think he's guilty. Nope, I don't think he's guilty. No, I think the white boy shouldn't have touched him. I'd have been right in there going hard. Where are all these enthusiastic females? Oh, they struck down these 3 women. Yeah, they struck them down. They struck them down over things that they said.
Prospective jurors were asked if they would hold it against Anthony if he didn't testify. One prospective juror said he would, saying silence is deafening. It matters. It's difficult to ignore. But a question from Anthony's attorney, Mike Howard, drew the ire of several prospective jurors when he asked them, how do you feel about the country's immigration policies? A number of them refused to answer, saying it was irrelevant. The prosecutor...
Right. So even his white lawyers set him up. What the hell does the country's immigration policies have to do with this murder case? Carmelo Anthony is doomed. He's doomed, and I knew he was doomed from the start. Because when it comes to these liberals, when it comes to black folk, we never gonna stick by you when you really need us. We gonna give you all the lip service in the world. That's what we do well. We got big ass lips, so of course we could do lip service. Pause. But what do we do when it's time for us to stand up and really come stand up for you? Stupid white lawyer trying to politicize this boy trial, talking about some immigration status in Texas. Is Carmelo Anthony an immigrant? Is he an immigrant? No. So what does opinions on immigration have to do with his trial? It would have been that day that I fired that fool.
The prosecution argued that the 3 black prospective jurors are educators and were dismissed for that reason because their jobs are too similar to the circumstances surrounding this crime. Opening statements are scheduled for 9 a.m., and that's when we'll get our first look at the makeup of this jury. In McKinney, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
Oh, yeah. Guys, I know that Carmelo Anthony is guilty of sin. I know he's guilty. The people I'm condemning are the black people who pretended like they believed he was innocent, but then when it was time for them to get put on the jury, they all refused to be on the jury, talking about, I can't send a young brother to jail. Oh, what I think has been influenced by what I saw on the media. Well, if you felt he was so innocent, it should have been black folks lined up to be on that jury. But the majority of them straight up abandoned, bro. This is why I keep telling people of all colors, this liberalism, this Black Lives Matter stuff, bro, you're building on a house of sand, man. It's never going to be there when you need it. Stick to your morals. Stick to your personal set of values that you were raised with. Don't abandon that. To be around a bunch of fair weather friends who, when things get tough, they're going to run out on you. I'm telling you, Austin, could you imagine Carmelo Anthony's family, how they felt when they heard what those potential jurors said about how they wouldn't feel right? I don't want to sit on there because I wouldn't feel right sending him to jail. They basically said he's guilty. They basically said he's guilty. So why did they waste our time for a whole year pretending like they thought he was innocent? I'm Doug Anderson. Come up here. Here's the link, bro. Look, let's see if you're any better than Carmelo Anthony's potential jurors. I'm a hater. Come up here. Click this link. I won't say anything. Come up here. I will give you the floor and tell me how I'm a hater. See, black folks suffer from misplaced anger. The people you should be mad at if you really feel that Carmelo Anthony was innocent are the people who refused to sit on the jury because they didn't want to be responsible for the potential outcome. Those are the haters. Those are the black folks got who they should be rooting for and who they should be rooting against totally mixed up. Those are the haters. At least as a man, when I looked at the situation, I said, look, I think he's guilty. And I'm done with it. He guilty, in my opinion, and I'm done with it. I didn't sit up and pretend to support him, and then they say, Brandon, go be on the jury. Nah, I'm good. I know a girl, bro. This is a true story. This just happened. I know a woman, right? She was involved in a car accident, right? She was in a car with her mom. Her mom had been drinking, and she didn't know. So she was in the car. Her baby was in the car. She's sitting in the back with the baby. Her uncle is sitting in the front seat of the car, right? When they get in the accident, she gets injured to the point where she has to go to the hospital in an ambulance, right? The police officer who responded to the scene said this. She said, your uncle is sober. Now, mind you, the uncle lived with her and her family. The police officer said, your uncle is sober, your mom is drunk, so she's going to jail. But your uncle can take the little 3-year-old baby, can take the baby with him home, and we won't have to call the Child Protective Services who will take away your child because you had your baby in the car with a drunk driver. Do you know this nigga got out the car, stood on the sidewalk, and pretended he wasn't even involved in the accident? And the girl is laying on the gurney saying, that's my uncle right there. You can give him my kid. Give him my son. He'll take him home. They had this situation right around the corner from their house, right? So this girl's like, just give him my son and he'll take him home. This fool talking about, I don't talk to no cops. I don't know nothing. You sat there and said you didn't know nothing, and now your own nephew is in the system because you too stupid to listen to what the police are saying. Step up like a man. Take responsibility for just even a couple of hours for your young nephew and just take him home. They got plenty of other family who could have came down, got the boy and all that. But in the moment, he betrayed her. He betrayed his family because that's the black mind. Not all black people. A lot, too many. I'm not going to say all. Too many black people. And it's so crazy because when I looked at this Karmelo Anthony situation, I thought of that fool. I said, man, these are some no good Negroes, just like he's a no good Negro. What's the point of being a man if you can't stand up for something you truly believe? And if you don't truly believe in it, why you lying trying to convince people that you do? That story is real. That story is 100% factual. I promise you. That story is real. I can't make up no story like that. I'm telling you, the story is real. I was so mad when I heard that story, I wanted to go choke that fool. But I said, well, that's y'all family, and that's the way y'all do things. I don't even know. And you want me to tell you, if you black, right? You know the story real because you've dealt with a black person that's exactly like that. You dealt with all black people have dealt with a black person who is exactly like that. Somebody shoot your friend. Well, I don't know what happened. No snitching. Bro, your friend don't even bang. You don't even bang. What the hell are you talking about? No snitching. This guy shot your friend. You need to tell so that person can get caught and go to jail. That's our community, though. Sometimes you're so ignorant to a fault. You let your own nephew get put in the system because you didn't want to be responsible for him for 5 minutes? No, white people do dumb stuff too. But see, in this case, you make white people look like they smarter than you. Because every white person on earth was like, that fool guilty. Every black person with some sense was like, Karmelo is guilty. It was a whole army of straight stooges saying, he's not guilty. If someone pushes you, you could kill him. So if my kid's on a playground and somebody push her, she can just kill that person and vice versa? It was stupid. We were literally arguing for trying to defend barbaric behavior. And the same people, it was so funny. The same people who was talking about Karmelo Anthony was justified for barbarism for killing a boy who pushed him. You'll sit up and try to play the moral high ground on Donald Trump or a Republican or Marco Rubio. Oh, why are they bombing kids in Gaza? Well, you're cheering for the death of a kid over pushing another kid. And I don't mean to like expand it to that level, but that's real, bro. In one instance, we'll be cheering for barbarism, and then in another instance, we'll be trying to condemn it. Whole time in our heart knowing it's wrong across the board. I believe what is happening in Gaza is wrong. I also believe what Karmelo Anthony did was wrong. That's called consistency of thought. Be consistent. Don't be a hypocrite your whole life. If you're consistent, people can trust what you say, even if they don't agree with you. That's called having integrity. And too many of us lack that. Be consistent in mind and thought. 1 minute, this is okay. We just operate based on rules for thee, but not for me. The rules for Karmelo don't apply to Bibi Netanyahu, and vice versa. If Karmelo kills a young innocent boy for a small slight against him, that's cool. Thumbs up. If Bibi Netanyahu attacks Gaza because he feels like Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, oh, he's a criminal. He's a warmonger. He's a barbarian. Both of those things could be true. But I'll say, BB wrong, Karmelo wrong. Nobody should have to die for a minor offense. I'm not going to say one is good and one is bad and they doing the same type of ignorance. Whichever way. Yeah, right. Trump lied about who killed the children in Iran. Okay. And guess what? Black people lied when they said they thought Karmelo was justified for what he did. So who's worse, Trump or the black folks? I'll put Trump and those black people in the same bucket. I'll put Trump in Karmelo in the same bucket. I ain't talking down to nobody. I'm only talking to the people who are low down. And like they say, a hit dog gonna holler. And like I promised this audience, you wasn't gonna click this link to come up and actually defend your position. I know my own people. I know my folks will be brave in the comments, but it never come up. Because deep down inside, you know I'm right. Deep down inside, you know I am right. But you just can't admit it because you're afraid that you might get kicked out of the black club of certified ignorance. Just be real with your shit. Man, be a man. Stand up on your own too. Who cares what people think about you? I know my people so well. I know exactly what kind of show to do to get these views up to 200-300 people watching. I know exactly what to say because we are so predictable as a group of people. Anyone can see us coming from 10 miles away and know exactly what we gonna do. I'm being real. Exactly. If you was that right, now let's get it. I don't care about Karmelo Anthony. I care that you repeat white supremacist talking point. Prove it. Prove it. Come up here and tell me one white supremacist talking point I've repeated, because I don't know one white supremacist who would have said, yeah, black people should have got on the jury and lied and said that they don't believe Karmelo Anthony is guilty so he could get off. No white supremacist would have said that. And I said, if you truly believed he was innocent, get your ass up there and lie like the devil, be an obstructionist so that he could walk away scot-free. What white supremacist is going to tell you to do that? You lied. You just lied right there. You just lied, and the soft-brained will believe you. But we know what it is. We know exactly what it is. It's bull crap. That's what it is. You just saying anything because you hurt. Your feelings are hurt by what I'm saying. There were no black jurors selected in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial because no black people wanted to step up. The women who were educators, they are too close to the situation. Educators have to have a heart for children, good or bad. Educators made it so that kids could beat up educators made it so that kids could beat up educators and never face any repercussions. You can go on YouTube and look at videos all day of students beating up teachers and really nothing happening to them. Educators made it like that. So educators have already showed you they're willing to sacrifice life and limb so some young thug could freaking go to school every day. They would not be good people to select for that jury. They would sit there and disagree with him being guilty. They wouldn't make their decision based on guilt or innocence. They would make their decision based on their emotional attachment to children and young people of a certain age. So they weren't good to be on there, right? But the black folks who were selected before them could have got up there and been like the spook who sat by the door and just made sure that young brother walked free. They said, nah, I wouldn't feel right putting another brother in jail, which is them admitting that they believe he was wrong. I'm just telling you, if you don't like it, okay, oh well, that's it. I've never been the type who gonna lie for a click or a view. Never ever. If you don't like it, that's on you. If you want the truth, come here. If you want bull crap, go somewhere else. There's plenty of it out there. If you want to be manipulated, go somewhere else. I'm gonna tell you what it is and what it ain't. And I'm gonna let you decide if you're man or woman enough to stand on business. Right? See, I'm just see if you're gonna stand on business. Anyway, so yeah, he didn't get no black jurors because all the jurors decided that they did not want to deal with it. And here's the final nail in the coffin, if you ask me. This woman just made it plain. She told it like it is. She said it straight up right here.
When prosecutors asked prospective jurors if media coverage of the case has led them to form opinions, several admitted that it had, with one replying, "I don't know if it's going to..."
Back. There were quite a
someone accountable.
Back. Pushing back. There were quite a few jurors that said they're not comfortable. This is a kid. They don't feel comfortable giving him life. They don't feel comfortable sending him to prison for 5 years. You had juror number 142 says, I am not comfortable giving or sending a brother to prison. You had white women that are saying, this is a child. He needs to learn. He made a horrible mistake. But sending him to prison for the rest of his life will not allow him to learn. You had white men saying, I can't do it. Even if you selected me, I'm not going to issue him a punishment. So the prosecution took the floor first. Both sides get 1 hour and 45 minutes. And so far, I'm going to tell you, it's not looking good.
I'm glad I got to play that clip because it shows you a different perspective of how other people saw these jurors. And I'm glad they tapped out because they clearly have a case of fatal empathy. They're not in the business of really holding people accountable. And, I just don't think in America, some people have the stomach for it. And I'll give you an example of this. Just look at parents. Some people don't have the spine, the stomach, the confidence, the commitment to actually be a firm parent with their child. So they let their child walk all over them. No wonder the child struggles when they become an adult. You see, the problem with Karmelo Anthony is he clearly not only had some anger issues in that moment, he clearly felt that he needed to defend himself with a knife. So that's flag number 2. Flag number 3, where was his father at? His father did not teach him how to avoid confrontation, when to walk away, etc. You see,
nope, his father abandoned him. When it came time to teach him the facts and the rules of life and how to deal with highly emotional situations, Karmelo Anthony's father abandoned him. He didn't give him the tools he needed to work his way through a situation like that mentally. He abandoned him in the way those jurors abandoned him. Supported him all the way up and supported him in everything he did other than the most important things that he needed to know. I bet his daddy was at every football game. I bet his daddy had him out on the field with cleats on, helping him practice. But you didn't teach him the one thing that was most important, emotional intelligence. I have a daughter. I tell her all the time, you got to just chill. You got to just learn to like ignore people. Don't give them a reaction. You have to learn to use their insecurities and hyper-emotionalism to your advantage. Every parent should have that conversation with their kid. You think Karmelo's dad had to? Bro, your son is bringing weapons to a track meet, bro. Your son is bringing weapons to a track meet. As a father, why is your son doing that? Your son all on the internet with pictures of him holding guns and all types of stuff. If he ain't going hunting, what is he on the internet with pictures of guns for? Right. But this is what I love. There's a movie called there's a movie called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. See, black people don't even know a lot of black folks don't even know their own history. The spook who sat by the door was a heroic figure. Just like in Uncle Tom's Cabin, Uncle Tom was a heroic figure. But black folks will call you a spook and an Uncle Tom to insult you, even though those people in their respective capacities were actually heroes in the movie and in the book that they are the protagonists in. You don't even know your own history. How can I talk to black people honestly, like Doug and this other dude? They don't even know what it means to be black. They don't even have a firm grasp of black literature or filmography so that you could actually reference things without them being offended. This is the exact ignorance I'm talking about. They want to argue, but they're not qualified. That's why when they get in front of a white man, they just look like a fool. I argued with a white supremacist. I debated a white supremacist on No Jumper. I cooked him in seconds. Cooked him so hard he was agreeing with me in the end. You just be real. Every black person believes that they are qualified to speak on black issues, especially the issue of race. And majority are not. The majority are not even educated on it enough, too hypocritical to have an honest conversation about things that affect them every day. I'm being real. I gave them the link. You think they know? They know I'm right. They know that what I'm saying is pure facts. Just like they knew Karmelo Anthony was guilty, but they just they weren't man enough to admit it. It sucks. I don't want to see a young black man go to jail, but it is what it is. He's a killer. He stopped, bro. Bro did some like Van Helsing action on bro. No, see, look. And the more you talk to them, the more they expose it. Everyone is qualified to talk about anything they want. It matters if they are right or wrong. So a person who works at IHOP and reads at a third grade level is qualified to talk about astrophysics. They qualified to have a discussion about how a combustion engine works. Come on, bro. It's just not true. And I'm not saying you got to have some fancy degree. You just have to have a comprehensive knowledge or understanding of what the hell you're talking about. I said the spook who sat by the door, and you thought that was an insult. That's the problem right there. Was he bullied? He was bullied. So you bullied by someone who you don't even know. I look at a bullying situation like something that happens over a certain length of time. Like if you and a kid have one interaction, that kid's not bullying you. Now, if that kid's meeting you every day, tripping on you, now that kid is bullying you. He was asked to leave the tent. Words were exchanged. The kid pushed him. He pulled a knife out and stabbed him in the heart. Jesus. And y'all gonna keep saying stupidity. Oh, he was justified. Well, why wouldn't no black person sit on the jury to defend him? Because deep down, you know he wasn't justified. Anyway, so that's that with the Karmelo Anthony situation. Now I want to get to this Rick Chow, this guy who viciously murdered this 14-year-old young man, young Mr. What's his name? Belmont. What is his name? Belmont? No. Let me see. I know his name is Cyrus. Cyrus Belton. Yeah. So this young Mr. Cyrus Belton. It was a sad situation. This kid was in the store. At the bare minimum, he was contemplating stealing something. He ended up not stealing anything, but was confronted as he was leaving by Rick Chow and his son, Andy Chow. They followed him outside. They exchanged words. He ran. They chased him. Rick Chow says that when he caught up to his son and Cyrus, that Cyrus had a gun on his son. He had drew down on him. And he said in that moment he had to act in an instant. He pulled out his gun and shot young Cyrus Belton in the back, killing him. Right? This is what happened. So, what we got to talk about now, because we covered that last night, so go watch last night's show if you want to go over that. We got black folks, and I'm not joking with you. We have black folks out here calling for an all-out race war in response to what happened. And it's mostly black females. You know, they always want somebody to throw their life on the damn roulette wheel over something that they saw on social media. Y'all go sacrifice your life so I could get back on this damn social media and scroll all day, right? And I covered that aspect in another video earlier, so go check that out. But I want y'all to see this right here because this is just some mess. This is just some mess. The reasons don't matter, only the results.
We see the consequences. You still gonna die. You just need to be ready to die about something, worth something. We're gonna die anyway. Everybody leaves the same way. We need enough people. We need enough soldiers. We need enough people to say, you know what? Right, wrong, indifferent. This ends today because my life is on the line. My kids' life is on the line. You keep talking about I'm not your ancestors. You better become them ancestors because they have to do what they have to do and they don't even get to reap the benefits of what they had to do.
We are sitting here continuously watching history repeat itself. How is it possible that Rick Chow didn't get convicted for taking that young boy's life? How is it possible that Rick Chow didn't get convicted for taking a 14-year-old's life?
But my thing is this, how does the hatred in the Asian American community turn back around on black folks? It's crazy. Because when you go back in American history, Asian Americans were forced to be in black communities because white Americans did not want them in their communities. So their stores, their food shops, all their businesses that were generating money was in black communities. Black people held them up.
So this morning I had to go to the gym and lift something heavy because I'm pissed off about this Cyrus Belton situation. And maybe not for the reasons a lot of you might think. I did a live stream on this last night and, you know, I got down to the bottom of the case and looked at the evidence. And there were some mixed reviews, people with the usual, oh, he was innocent, he was a kid, this, that, and the third, and other people saying, nah, but this kid had a gun. There's no way this kid should have been in somebody's store with a gun. And if they chased him, even though they did chase him and they shouldn't have done that, well, if he did what they said they did and pulled out a gun on the man Rick Chow's son, then who wouldn't shoot somebody in defense of their kid? But the thing that's really pissing me off is the fact that you still have African-American people or black people in the comments trying to justify so many things about this situation that are really unjustifiable. It ain't about so much what happened because the reasons, as Les Brown says, don't really matter. The results are what matter. Damn whether or not Cyrus Belton actually stole water from the store. Why did he go in the store? And when he went in the store, did he go in there to buy something? If he did, why didn't he buy it? Why did he pick up water, then go put the water back once he realized that? Okay, so I'll let you guys hear a little bit of my reason on the situation. And you see these people, this woman, it doesn't matter. You got to be willing to sacrifice and lay down your life. And I was on TikTok the other day, and this woman was like, yeah, we need to go to war. We need to stand up and fight because these people, they didn't cross the line. Da, 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 da. So I got on the panel, and I asked her, I said, so you want me to throw my life away and rob my children of their father, right? So they don't have anybody to raise them and teach them what they should do and what they shouldn't do on behalf of some young kid who was basically a thug in training. I know y'all want to believe he was on his way to Harvard, but he was a thug in training, right? Carrying around a switch with a laser sight on it up in somebody's store, stalking around, right? Thinking, ready, trying to figure out a way to steal something. Y'all want me to throw my life away for him. So then my kids don't got nobody. Good kids, right? Good kids who don't do things like what Cyrus Belton was doing. That's stupid. She talking about, oh, you gonna die anyway. You got to be out your damn mind. You have to be out of your mind. Let's watch a little bit. I want to watch a little bit more black reactions to this before I ask my question. That's going to blow this whole thing wide open.
Yesterday, Rick Chow shot a 14-year-old black boy in his back and got away with it. Watch this quick clip of the verdict, and then let's get into it.
4-0-0-7-4-4-0. State of South Carolina, County of Richland versus Chike Rick Chow. We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Chike Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Sign number 302, foreperson, June the 1st, 2026. Madam Foreman, this is your verdict and the verdict of the entire jury. Ms. Menendez, thank you.
This is what America does. Rick Chow owned a gas station in Columbia, South Carolina, and he suspected a 14-year-old black boy named Cyrus Carmack Belton of stealing water from him. Cyrus did not steal anything, and the video in the store showed that plainly. But Rick Chow did not check his own cameras. He chased that child the length of a football field with a gun and put a single bullet into Cyrus's back while the boy ran for his life. The coroner said that the wound belonged to someone running away. Cyrus was 14.
No, please! No, please!
The Rick Chow murder trial is continuing this out. Reaction.
One of the biggest conversations that I am seeing happening on social media is the question of why did the state choose to charge him with murder instead of manslaughter?
Jury select. All right, so let's clear.
In touch with
when I tell you they was going absolutely like crazy over this situation, I'm not even exaggerating. They were going off about this situation, and I really want to get some more of those reactions. Let me see if I could just sign into TikTok really quick. Oh, here we go. See, I always thought TikTok would just let you kind of get on without signing in, but I guess I was 1000% wrong. Let me see. I think this is it. Hold on. Let me see if I can sign in. Okay. I think we're gravy. Okay, we're in. We're in. Success. Hercules. Okay, we're in. I just got to show y'all a couple of more of these joints. I got to show y'all the black folks who are like, we need to go to war. Okay. Let's see. Doggone it. Sorry guys. I hate to make y'all wait, but I gotta really talk about. I really want y'all to see this. Hold on. Okay, we could go back to this other idiotic guy. Okay, here we go.
The Rick Chow verdict just opened a can of worms. Okay, this is not the summer to not know where your child is. And I am not victim blaming. I'm just trying to connect the dots. We heard in DC that they are holding parents accountable for their child's action. This is not the summer for your kid to be raiding stores, being unsupervised, doing weird stuff on the subway, on public transportation, okay, for the gram and TikTok. You need to know where your child is at all times. You need to know who they're hanging with, okay? Because this verdict just gave permission for store owners to do whatever the hell they want if they suspect your child is stealing, if they suspect your child is vandalizing their store, their property, okay? Understand how the law works.
Store owner Rick Chow chased.
I knew the moment the jury sent the question to the judge asking what was the definition of malice that it was going to be not guilty. I know you guys are like, Lauren, where are you? I am not in my office.
Y'all charged with the wrong charge. They said, oh, no, let me talk, because there's something on my mind. Y'all charged with the wrong charge. He said that instead of first degree, he should have got charged with second degree, right?
There's no degrees of murder in South Carolina. It's straight murder.
Right. So they should have allowed us to
charge him with just straight murder, okay? So there's no degrees, so they didn't charge him with the wrong thing. They charged him with murder, which is what he should have been convicted of, okay? I'm pissed off as much as anybody else because I made the arrest. It is our case. I'm not happy about it. Wasn't did.
Come on, lad.
Why wasn't this gas station shut down a long time ago? Recharge him.
He sold the gas station.
That little boy. Recharge.
The jury got it right.
And as we grapple with this problem, there was one area that had...
They killed my baby. I don't wish this on nobody.
You shoot a kid straight in their back after chasing them for 130 yards and somehow get found not guilty?
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, GK Rick Chow, as to the charge of murder, not guilty. Sign number.
He was found not guilty for the shooting and killing of Cyrus Carmack Belton. Just to be clear, in 2023, Cyrus entered the store, was suspected of stealing a bottle of water, exited the store, chased for 130 yards by Chow and his son, shot in the back and died on scene. While Cyrus did not steal anything, he did have a gun inside his jacket, which was mistaken for stolen goods. One thing I do think played a huge role in this case was the fact that prosecution only put a murder charge on the table.
Man, listen, man, bro had a gun. This man saying bro pulled the gun out and pointed at his son and he shot him. It's his word against a dead man. Dead men tell no tales. Y'all know that sign. But this is what I'm going to ask black folks real quick. Black folks is talking like y'all saw, y'all heard it. And there was, on the lives, these black folks was getting crazy on these lives. Oh, we need to go to war. We didn't have enough. I was just the day after the verdict, I was on TikTok scanning the lives and they was talking crazy as hell. My question to these black people is, if you have a race war, because they talking about going on a race war against white folks, even though dude was Asian. if you have a race war with white folks, how they gonna give you reparations? That's my only question. You gonna go to war with the same group of people that you begging for reparations? This is the inconsistency of many black folks' minds. We're gonna go to war because enough is enough, right? While simultaneously telling you to cut the check. Why isn't anyone bringing that up when they in these groups talking about, yeah, we had enough is enough, we need soldiers, we need soldiers? How you gonna get, what soldiers are you gonna gather from the black community to rise up and fight the white man, right? If all those soldiers are looking at the white man's pockets, wanting a check.
This is why I tell y'all that it is so important to understand history. And what I've noticed is a lot of times when you start making your points, a lot of y'all start making your points, right, towards why black people in America deserve reparations. You'll get white people in your comment section talking about how hard their family struggled and they didn't own slaves and all of this shit. It's like, listen, we understand that all white people did not own slavery or own enslaved people, right? But we also know, right, historically documented that at any given time during the American enslavement of black people, that upwards of 5 to 15% of enslaved people were actually rented out to people who could not afford to buy slaves for themselves.
Democrat California gubernatorial candidate Tom Steyer, who wants to abolish ICE, was surrounded by reparations protesters outside a Limerick Park campaign event. The crowd demanded he cut the check. A knife was reportedly pulled on his staff, and CHP escorted him out. What do you make of this?
Okay. Step up. Briefly, we have...
Democrat California gubernatorial candidate.
Okay. Step up. Briefly, we have to get going in one moment. Step up, tell us your name, and briefly, what's on your mind? Where's the niece?
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening.
What I want
Please set the timer. Let's go. All right. So even though I'm from Brooklyn, East Flatbush, shout out to Harlem. All right. As June 10th approaches, we are reminded that emancipation without repair is incomplete freedom. Black Americans have awaited generations for justice. The harm is documented. The wealth stolen is documented. The debt is documented. So the question is no longer whether reparations is owed. The question is, when will we be paid?
Yeah, 120
on the longer term.
I'm not tired at the very same.
We need to pay back reparations now.
Democrats and Republicans are both against reparations. They both are denying financial justice for my people. Democrats, I don't want to hear from you, because how in the hell do you have one of your people out of Washington State propose reparations for undocumented people? They ain't even damn citizens.
The joint is Mike Blackman.
Okay, thank you.
You got me?
Yes.
All right, hello, good evening, everybody. If everybody, including the commissioners, could do me a favor, if you, your parents, and or your grandparents immigrated from somewhere, please raise your hand. Anyone on the commission, ma'am, raise your hand, please. Immigrated. came from somewhere else.
The current level of conversation about reparations, particularly on the national stage, is probably greater than anything that might have been taking place in the United States since the Reconstruction era.
Reparations, real reparations. Reparations that put the wealth that this state and this country took from us back into our hands. Direct.
Yo, this adds a whole new layer to our reparations claim. This
cut the check.
I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but because Trump is upset about the Epstein files leaking, he has released the MLK files.
At the very, I would like to point this.
Well. Seems Democrats have done it again. I got a question. How many more times are we going to continue to go down to Selma, Alabama in March? Like, I get going down there to do the...
Okay, so the point I'm ultimately trying to make, because I kind of got caught up in that too, because these dudes are idiots. But I want you to pay attention to who the people are talking about reparations and cut the check. Young black men. Slightly older black men too. But those are your soldiers right there. So here's my question to all my people who are with me. If you're here with me, give me a 1 in the comments. To all my people who are in here with me. If all your soldiers, your young black male soldiers, are waiting for the white man to give him a check for reparations, to give them a check, which one of them is going to be willing to go fight and do battle with those same white people? Because if you kill the white man can't pay you. So I just wanted to use that one little nugget of wisdom for all these people talking about race war and we got to go to battle and we need soldiers and we need blah, 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 blah. Ain't no black person in America who is ignorant enough to believe that Cyrus Belton was just totally innocent and there was nothing he did that contributed to what happened to him. There is no black person in America who believes that this boy was 100% innocent, who's about to go to war and fight against white folks. You cannot kill the people you want to pay you reparations. You can't kill your boss and expect to get a paycheck on Friday, the owner of the company. Do you understand? So all this tough talk about going to war and blah, 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 those days are over. Black people have went full circle back to begging. Black people have went full circle back to the slave mind, where we go work in the field and say, days never finish. Master got me working. Someday master set me free. That's us. The reparations check is the freedom. We just gonna do what we told until master see fit to give us a reparations check. So y'all like a bunch of slaves who are afraid to revolt because you don't want to miss butter biscuit Sundays. The mistress, she lets the mammy make us biscuits and gravy on Wednesday. So if we gonna do the uprising, can we do it on Thursday after biscuits and gravy day? I'm being real with you. I want y'all to tell me, please, somebody, tell me right now, how are you gonna build an army with a bunch of people looking at the white man for a paycheck? How are you going to build an army to fight the white man with a bunch of black folks who are looking at the white man and wanting him to give them a check? You could mobilize the army. As soon as y'all get to the battlefield, white man gonna say, I give all you niggas $20 to go home. And we could talk about, no, white man just say, look, if y'all go home right now, we can discuss your reparations check. Have y'all ever saw the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson? And remember when William Wallace and them boys went to go fight against Longshanks, King Edward? You remember that? and William Wallace out there fighting, and they doing pretty good, but they starting to lose the battle, and they got their reinforcements in the cut. And William Wallace like, when I wave the flag, y'all come help us. And so he get the flag and he start waving like, come help us. And they look at him and they just turn around and go and walk the other way with all their soldiers. And Longshanks say, well, I paid them off. I bought them off with promises of land and estates in England, right? That's basically what's going to be the outcome. They go, if you did mobilize an army to fight the white man, they would just buy off all your soldiers with promises of reparations. I just want to crush your hopes and dreams a little bit tonight. Allow me to crush you. These women get on the internet talking reckless because they know ultimately no one's going to do anything to them. They'll tell you to throw your life away while they actively talk about, I'm going to go get me a white boy, and they'll be laid up with the white man as soon as he finished killing you off. But my question is you going to kill him or are you going to beg him? You can't do both. You can't do both. Now, I'm not advocating for violence against anybody, right? Because I know this is just nonsense. But I just want to show you the ignorance and circular logic, the circular thinking of too many black people. Not all, but way too many. We gonna kill a white man in a war, but we also gonna beg him for reparations and scream, cut the check. I like women. I don't like dumb big mouth women who say reckless things on the internet. Just like I don't like dumb big mouth men who say reckless things on the internet. All I'm bringing you is some common sense. Yes, Battle of Falkirk. All I'm bringing you is some common sense. All your soldiers want a check from these folks. So how do you expect them to go to war with these folks over Cyrus Belton? It just ain't gonna happen. But that's the only points I wanted to make for tonight, y'all. What did y'all think about the show? I need to get some feedback on the show. I'm trying to get the numbers up on these live streams. I don't know what these other people be talking about. I want to see, like, what am I doing? What are these other people doing that I'm not doing other than glazing a bunch of ignorance? There's a guy, his thing is called the Star Report. I've been kind of like seeing him in my feed. He's been around for a long time. He's an OG. But I mean, I was watching his show. He ended his live. He had a live stream. He ended it already. But yeah, I don't know. Oh no, it's still up. Okay. Let's see.
Here in Emerald Isle, North Carolina today, but somehow I wound up in the backyard with a chainsaw. My dumb ass cutting down 2 trees and...
Oh, is this what y'all want to talk about? Y'all want me
anyway, I want to talk to you guys tonight about a few things.
Tell y'all about my day?
No black jurors selected for the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. Well, not so fast. Not so fast. For those who, don't know the law, not that I'm some legal expert, I'm not, but Collin County, Texas, it is highly difficult because prosecutors must overcome the presumption of innocence and convince a unanimous 12-person jury of your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Also, there is a high burden of intent. To secure a first-degree murder conviction in Collin County, Texas, the state cannot just show that a death occurred. They must prove exactly what you were thinking. Now, also, for those...
You know what? Maybe I'm just assuming that people already know all this stuff. He might give me a copyright strike. Whatever. I don't think so. I don't think he can. But maybe I just assume people know all that stuff. Presumption of innocence, innocent until proven guilty. Maybe I just gotta break all that stuff down, huh? Wear a MAGA hat and they will come. I'm not shadow banned. I don't even believe in that. I don't believe in no shadow ban because I gained 1,000 subscribers in 1 month last month. Nah, but I think I just got to be more consistent and kind of do it at the same time every day. Because one thing about him, he goes every day or every whenever, but he's always 2 to 4. 2 to 4, I think he says. Weekdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Yeah. So live from Atlanta. So bro be all over the place. But yeah. So I like to check out other streamers and stuff. Master Shock Value said, I've been watching for 9 years. He's done it several times. He struck us. Oh, okay. Well, at least I know now, right? At least I know now. We only checked him out for a second. Okay, so hopefully he won't get us. He won't whoop us. But yeah, people probably be trying to play his stuff during their live streams and let him do all the talking while they just sit there and enjoy the benefits. Guys, we did have a $5 challenge. What's up with my audience? Y'all don't send no super chats. I've been doing that $5 challenge for like a week. Haven't even got one contribution. Who's going to be the person to get us going on the right track with a $5 contribution for the super chat, for the $5 challenge on the super chat? Jesus. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm changing audiences, though. I think I'm switching audiences because a lot of the people who used to watch me all the time, I don't really see them that much anymore in here. And I kind of got a whole new, like Juggernaut, yes, my boy Zarth, Goddess Navee's here. It's good to see you, my sister. Jason Beatrice, got you in here. LTZ, some of my day ones. Zarth definitely is in the building. All the day ones who in here, say something in the comments so I know who all in here. I don't know. I think I made a lot of people mad with me just because I refuse to lie, man. I don't want to get up on, the stream. And you know how much of a mental toll that takes on you to just lie. Master Shock Value, thank you. Day one in the building. Thank you. It takes a lot of energy to get up and consistently lie. That takes a lot of energy. That's why you see a lot of people who do a lot of lying. They don't do live streams. Because when you lie on live, you got to remember all the lies you told. That's why you see people like be calling up like Tariq Nasheed and stuff, and they be clowning his ass because he's always getting caught up in lies, because it's very hard to keep up with how many lies you told when you're always lying. But there's a lot of stuff that's actually happening. I don't even know what else, because I got some other like videos I'm going to make. But there's a lot of stuff out here, man. Let me see. I'm just live right now, scanning, kind of seeing some things I'm gonna make videos on, because I got a couple more things I want to talk about. I might release another video tonight. I've been really trying to get my pre-recorded videos down, like out, because I'm trying to perfect that. Because live streams, even though I do like live streams, I do love depending on super chats more, because then I could kind of run my show the way I want to, and I don't have to worry about YouTube AdSense revenue. But it's too risky in a sense, because if people decide, oh, we're not going to donate, we're not going to do no, it's like, yo, you're stuck. You're just kind of screwed. You're really just kind of like in a bad situation. So I'm just kind of opening up my channel so I can be discovered by like different people. Cause I see a lot of people that have good views on live streams, and I just sit and I'm watching and I'm just like, they're barely saying anything. So I don't know if people just like to just sit and kind of watch you online, like on live more, or do they actually want you to give your opinions on anything? What do you guys think about the Los Angeles election? Do you guys think do you think they're rigging it? You guys think they're preparing to steal the election? I don't know if you guys know about that, but there's a huge thing with these mail-in ballots. Because basically 2 Republicans are doing really well in the primaries. Spencer Pratt is doing really great. He's in second place right now to Karen Bass, and he's looking like he most likely is going to enter the runoff with her in November. And then you have Steve Hilton, who is a Republican, who is actually leading in the California gubernatorial primary right now. And he's looking like he's going to go into the runoff in the lead, right? But on the first day, Steve Hilton jumped to a huge lead, and Spencer Pratt actually jumped to a huge lead over progressive candidate Nithya Raman. There were three people who people considered serious: Boss, incumbent mayor; Nithya Raman, a crazy, radical, progressive councilwoman; and Spencer Pratt. Well, Spencer Pratt came out like 30 or 40,000 votes over her at the end of the first day of voting. Now, they're counting the votes, and California has this ridiculous process where they count votes for weeks and weeks and weeks. Everyone else can tell you who won on the day of. In California, they do like what the government did in 2020, where they were counting votes for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden Biden wins Georgia out of nowhere. So California does that every gubernatorial election. And so they're saying it's going to take them up to 3 weeks to count all the votes. And as they count the votes, a lot of people are tripping because they're like, we're noticing that the Republican candidates' votes aren't going up at all, but the Democrats' candidates' votes and the radical, liberal, progressive candidates' votes keep steadily going up, and they're steadily gaining on the Democrats. And it's looking like if it goes, on the Republicans, and it's looking like if it keeps going this way, the Democrats will overtake the Republicans, and it will be a Democrat on Democrat runoff. People are saying that this means that the California elections are rigged. And honestly, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Well, what Hilton is talking about is the way California has changed its election laws as of today, right? You got 58 counties, you got 1,700 drop boxes, you got 23 million registered voters, and everyone gets a mail ballot as of 2021. And that's the way they've been doing it in California. Now you got to match the signatures, and all this takes an extraordinary amount of time. Nonetheless, 56% of the vote is still out. That dropped a little bit from yesterday. We'll explain that in a moment here. Hilton in the lead, Becerra second, and Tom Steyer third. It's my sense that all three of them moved up slightly overnight, maybe about two tenths of a point for all three of them. Meanwhile, in the mayor's race, here's where we stand. Karen Bass has advanced. You've got almost 40% of the outstanding votes still out there. And Pratt is in second place, holding his own. Nithya Raman now is in third place. Some of our analysis from overnight of the late vote that's coming in tends toward the Democrat. So that would favor Raman and would hurt Pratt if that trend were to continue.
California really needs to fix their counting ballots process. Now, I'm not saying there's cheating going on in California, because I can't prove that, and there hasn't been any evidence to support that there's cheating. However, stuff like this, if you're objective, does make you think twice. And the fact that with 60% of the vote in, they're claiming, or 64%, whatever it is, California officials are claiming that this could take weeks to count, is insane. There's no excuse in this time for it to take that long to count ballots. Not to mention the fact that if we're just talking in the mayoral race, take the state of California out of it, the governor race, take that one out of it. It should not take weeks to count for a mayoral race. That is just pure and utter insanity.
Retired fire captain here. All right, people, what do you think's going on? It's almost 24 hours since the polls closed here in California, and we're still counting ballots. Can you imagine that? The mail-in ballots are still being counted? What the fuck is that? And there's no voter ID, so who knows who voted? Who knows how many people voted? All right, we got Spencer Pratt, who kicked some ass, came in second place. He should have came in first place if people had common sense. We have Steve Hilton, who, didn't really kick anybody's ass, but is in first place, and Becerra's in second place.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, it's looking fishy, man. This idea that you go behind closed doors and you take as long as you want to, how do I know they're not just bringing a bunch of random ass ballots in and saying, hey guys, fill all these out until we get a Democrat? Like, the way these people in California are so brainwashed on Democrat policies, even if they're horrible, I believe they would willingly, knowingly help the officials cheat, because these people are operating on pure emotion. I'm not going to lie to you. California might have to start bringing people from out of state to count these ballots, man. Like an equal number of Democrats and Republicans, to just make sure there's no cheating going on. And we really need to change our primary system.
Essentially, California leaders have made the decision that it's more important to give more people more time to make last-minute votes than it is to count quickly, where other states have said it's more important to count quickly and not necessarily give people as many options to vote at the last minute.
If the vote counting fiasco Democrats put in place lets them, that is. As of Showtime, Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton is in the top spot with 27.8%, followed by Javier Becerra at 25.4%. Steyer's down at 19.6%. So in this convoluted jungle primary system, the top two finishers, as you may remember, face off in November. Now, given that 8.2 percentage points separate Hilton from Steyer, one would think that Hilton's a shoo-in, right? Oh, not so fast. Because in California, the vote counting can go on for not days, but weeks after the final polls close. The California Secretary of State issued a press release to this effect yesterday, reminding everyone that California counties have about 2 weeks, 13 days to be exact, to count all of their ballots. 13 days. And the man who spent $200 million on his own lackluster campaign, only to come in third on election night, feels, for that, optimistic.
It might take some time to figure out where this is going. We're going to wait till every ballot is counted. We're going to give democracy a time to work, and we know we finished really strong.
Yeah, democracy in quotes there. Well, meanwhile, in Florida, another state with a huge percentage of voting by mail, they finished the vote on election night somehow, as do most, if not all, Western nations. But of course, Democrats don't care that they're eroding public faith in California's voting system. They don't care at all. In fact, they prefer this approach. Why? Because it gives them all the power. Obama's old campaign chief knows the game.
The governor's race is incredibly interesting. It looks like Steve Hilton's going to advance to the next round. Becerra has a lead, but there are so many votes out there right now. It is very interesting to see whether Tom Steyer can have enough mail-in ballots. We might not know about this for several days.
Several days? This is a national.
But why was he saying Becerra has the lead? Becerra's second to Hilton. They already know what's going to happen because they know the cheating's how they cheat.
Disgrace, my friends. Oh, forget that. It's an international disgrace. The voters deserve to know who the winner or winners are by midnight on election night, or at least within 24 hours. Come on. But still, 20 hours after the polls closed in California, we still don't have a clear top two in the mayoral race. Pratt seems like he's a solid number two.
The final piece of the puzzle that we won't know tonight, right, is the late arriving vote by mail. Talking about probably like a third of the vote in Los Angeles, we're probably not going to be getting until tomorrow and maybe days to come after tomorrow. The mail can still come in after Election Day. And there's indications, and there's certainly a ton of precedent here, that late arriving vote by mail is going to be significantly more Democratic friendly than all of the other vote, meaning that would be good news for Bass. That would be good news for Raman.
Yeah, so Nithya Raman would be good news for her, right? Good news for her. She's the far left socialist. She could then magically jump 8 points to the number two position?
Man, listen, they're definitely trying to rig it. They're definitely trying to cheat. Like, to me, I hate to go to that. I want to believe that the system is cool, but I just don't trust this thing where you give corrupt politicians who we know will steal. If they'll steal your money and hand it to a bunch of NGOs and take kickbacks, what makes you think they won't steal the election? That's my whole thing. But these people, the tribalism in California has just gotten so bad that people are just like, they don't care as long as their side wins. you got all these black folks. They're celebrating Karen Bass. Oh, Karen Bass, all the haters and woo woo. And I'm looking at these people and I'm like, you do realize that like 90% of the people on Skid Row are black. 90% of the people down bad are black. But black folks are the main ones celebrating this lady who continues to lie and pretend as if the problem is a homelessness problem. It's not a homelessness problem. It's a drug problem. When somebody's laid out in the middle of the street butt naked, that's not homelessness. That's drug addiction. And it's an issue. Now, Steve Hilton, let's look at what's going on right now. Because slowly but surely, Tom Steyer, the Democrat, see, what people think, let me show you guys this. What people think is that people think you need to watch out for the person in second place, right? Oh, Javier Becerra is only 100,000 votes down, right? That's not who you need to watch out for. This third person is who they're going to try to move up. See, they need for this person to surpass Hilton. So in the 3 weeks that they're going to take to count these votes, they're going to slowly add. Right now, what they're doing, what I believe they do, they look at what's going on and they figure out how to add votes to the candidates in small enough increments so nobody can really catch on to a particular pattern. They'll continue to add votes to the top person they want to win, which is Becerra, while slowly adding votes to Tom Steyer. They want you to look at the top two people. But really, this is the person you want to look at, because if you look at the list that Ingram was showing, right? If you look at the list she was showing, you'll see. I want to show you this. Look at Steyer. This guy was at 900,000 votes. Look at this. He was at 19%, right? But if you look at how the votes jumped, I want you to notice something. He's at 19%, right? Javier Becerra is at 25. Hilton is at 27. Now let's go back over here. I want y'all to pay very close attention. Becerra's at 25. Steyer's at 19. Hilton is at 27. Let's flip here. This is the new updates with 3 million votes remaining, right? Notice that Hilton is still at 27.2. His percentage of the vote actually fell. He was at 27.8. His percentage of the vote fell to 27.2. Look, he was at 27.8. His percentage of the vote fell to 27.2. While Becerra was at 25.4, his percentage of the vote has went up to 26%. Steyer was at 19% with only 900,000 votes. All of a sudden, he's at 20.2%. See, they slowly but surely ratcheted up, and the Republican conservative, he doesn't really get an uptick, right? Even though he went from 1,300,000 to 1,500,000, they advanced more than he did. They collected more new votes than he did. Because Becerra jumped from Becerra jumped from 1,267,000 all the way up to 1,468,000. right? Tom Steyer jumped from 900,000 all the way up to 1,138,000. And they'll slowly do that. And look, notice how much of the vote is in. Only 59.6%. 59.6%. So guess what? They still have plenty of votes, millions of votes, to spread between Becerra and Steyer to push Steve Hilton out of the race. And what I want y'all to also notice is this. There's actually a bunch of candidates running. Look at all these candidates who are collecting votes. There's a bunch of candidates running. So you're telling me little to none of these new votes are coming in for them? They're going to purposely, none of these people are going to get any more votes, right? None of these people are going to get any more votes. And all the votes are only going to go between these top three because I believe they're filling out ballots after the fact. I believe they're filling out votes after the fact. And if you look at the situation with Pratt, go back over here. I'm telling you, even the commentators are realizing that this shit is rigged. They're like, wait a minute. They're going to just wait these dudes out.
The voters deserve to know who the winner or winners are by midnight on election night, or at least within 24 hours. Come on. But still, 20 hours after the polls closed in California, we still don't have a clear top two in the mayoral race. Pratt seems like he's a solid number two.
The final piece of the puzzle that we won't know tonight, right, is the late arriving vote by mail. Talking about probably like a third of the vote in Los Angeles, we're probably not going to be getting until tomorrow and maybe days to come after tomorrow. The mail can still come in after Election Day. And there's indications, and there's certainly a ton of pressure.
They're literally flying these votes in through the sheriff department. LA is a big county. It ain't that damn big. You can drive all the votes, right, to the wherever they count them in an hour or two. You can go through all of LA County in less than 2 hours. Why is it taking that long to just get these votes where they need to go to get counted? It's BS, man.
Precedent here that late arriving vote by mail is going to be significantly more Democratic friendly than all of the other vote, meaning that would be good news for Bass. That would be good news for Rahman.
Yeah, so Nithya Rahman would be good news for her, right? Good news for her.
And she basically gave a concession speech. The night of the campaign, she pretty much knew that she was done. But then somebody came to her like, don't worry, we're going to rig it for you. Now she's all like, I'm optimistic and hopeful. Yeah, because they've told you that the fix is in. They've told you that the fix is in. Everyone I know was like, I'm voting Chad Bianco. How did this guy only get 600,000 votes? Steyer was barely above him. But the whole thing is this. The only person who could take votes away from Steve Hilton is Chad Bianco, right? And it looks like he's already crapped out. So all the Republicans pretty much are going to support Steve Hilton. This guy, there's no way he shouldn't finish first. But even if he finishes second, I think there's a chance. But a lot of Democrats told me they voted for Steve Hilton too. A lot of people in California are just done. Who wants to keep paying these high-ass taxes? Even in my city, Long Beach, the person who finished, there was a whole field of Democrats, one Republican. The person who actually finished second to the Democrat mayor, Rex Richardson, was this MAGA Republican named Josh Rodriguez. This dude, this guy, he's straight MAGA in my city in Long Beach, California. And he finished second. He only lost by, I want to say, 10 or 11,000 votes. So I know that California is like sick of these Democrats. They're sick of this progressive bullcrap. Honestly, they're sick of it. But when you got it rigged up the way they do in California, it's going to be very hard for anyone who's not a Democrat You're basically going to have a Democrat run, like a Republican run as a Democrat. And I'm not going to lie, I think Steve Hilton should have did that. Cuz it's just like it's really crazy. It's really crazy how this is playing out. Cuz Spencer Pratt, he has all the momentum. And it's like Nithya Rama, she was tanking in the polls. And now it's like, oh, but all these people are coming out of the woodworks to vote for her. And I'm like, I just do not believe that. I do not believe that. What is this? 10 hours, 5 hours. What's the most recent? What are you guys hearing? I'm looking at the comments. 2 hours. Let's see. We have, and this is exactly how it's gonna look when they tell you Nithya Raman has overtaken Spencer Pratt. It's gonna sound just like this.
We have breaking news. A new batch of results from Tuesday's primary election have just dropped.
Let's get straight to political reporter Josh Haskell with all the numbers, especially in the governor's race and LA mayor's race. Josh.
Yeah, let's start with the mayor's race. I spoke to LA County Registrar Dean Logan earlier today. He said this was going to be a bigger ballot drop than yesterday. So far, about 30,000 in the mayor's race, really helping Karen Bass, but really not that much, 30,000. Right now, our vote total is currently at 557,165. Let's start with Bass. She still leads, and she is the projected winner in this race. We are waiting to see who she will face in the runoff. Bass, you can see at 35%. 195,000 votes. Then you have Spencer Pratt still here in second place, 29.4% of the vote. He's 31,900 votes behind Mayor Karen Bass. And then you have Nithya Raman. She is in third. She is 64,976 votes behind Karen Bass. Let's go over to the governor's race. We also have some new numbers in the governor's race, more than that 30,000.
But I don't like what he's saying. I don't like how they cover this.
Votes behind.
Why don't you tell how many votes she is behind Spencer? Because they want you to keep focusing on Nithya and Karen. Because they know that if you keep focusing on Spencer, you're going to notice that his votes are going to stay the same while Nithya's keep rising. Karen's are barely going to rise because they're not going to seed her too much because they don't want her to get to 51%. So they're going to blank him out, right? What about this guy, Adam Moore or whatever his name is at the bottom? This guy was at like 16,000 or like he was at like 17,000 votes after the first election night. This guy's at 21,000 votes now. That literally he's taking votes away from Nithya. They're taking votes away from Karen. So why does it look like Nithya is raising up slowly but surely? 23,000 votes, 23%. She's only 6 percentage points away from Spencer Pratt. Exactly 6 percentage points. She's only down to him by 30,000 votes. The fix is in, man.
Karen Bass. Let's go over to the governor's race. We also have some new numbers in the governor's race. More than that 30,000 in the mayor's race, but not too much more. You're looking at 77,000 new votes that have just poured in. Steve Hilton still in the lead, 27.2%. That's 1,471,788. That's where he's at. Javier Becerra in second, 25.9%. The key number, 72,746 behind the leader. Then Tom Steyer still in third. You're looking at 384,364 behind the leader. And the thing that we're really paying attention to is estimated vote total. We're 57% in the governor's race. Go back to the mayor's race real quick, 65.8%. So there's still a lot of votes left to count.
So my whole thing is this, and this is what I can't stand about California, man. California has all these people. It's like they're not really a coalition. They're a bunch of people who hate each other, but they just hate Republicans more, right? Because Tom Steyer is a corporate billionaire who made all his money with the oil companies. Javier Becerra is a dude who's basically like an empty suit. Whoever gives him money, he'll support them, right? He worked with Chevron and the oil companies and all that. You know, he's promised them already he's not going to do anything crazy if they give him money, right? So notice how you have the liberal, woke, progressive, environmentalists and all that. When it came down to it, they got under the umbrella and they voted for 2 candidates who represent everything they claim to be against. Understand that. They're voting for a corporate billionaire who made his money with big oil, Tom Steyer, who spent over $200 million of his own money for his horrible campaign. And then on the other half, they have horrible Javier Becerra, who was the health secretary during the draconian COVID lockdowns. The guy is corrupt as hell. And he's basically an empty suit for whoever wants to give him money. So tell me, why are these liberal, woke, blue-haired freaks, these flower children, why are they voting for these people? I thought they were 100% against these people. But do you notice how everything changes when it comes time for the election? There are plenty of woke progressives. Nithya Raman, the person who they should be voting for, overwhelmingly they didn't vote for her. So we still have a lot of Democrats who are down with big oil, down with corruption and corporatism, but they just won't admit it. See? They're down with corporatism and all that. That's why I tell you, do not believe these fake bleeding heart liberals, man. Do not believe them. Okay, we already did this one. Okay. So, what is this? Okay, 10 hours ago. So, it's just looking like they're going to make sure Becerra catches Hilton. And if the Jukes is really in, they're going to make sure that Steyer catches Hilton. And then it's going to be an all-Democrat runoff. But who knows, man? Eventually, I know the Democrats are going to consolidate all under whoever's the leader. And to me, that is just so weak. Javier Becerra, the guy was polling at 1%. 1. Before Eric Swalwell pulled out. Literally and figuratively. Now the guy's in the lead, dominating. He's not in the lead, but he's so close to being in the lead, basically dominating the field. This guy, Javier Becerra, is probably the most uninteresting, unmotivational, he's boring. He came to my city and did a rally, right? Nobody showed up. I'm like, bro, there's no way this guy has all this support. This guy did a rally and nobody showed up. Let me see. I promise you, bro. This guy did a rally and they wouldn't even show the crowd. Hold on, I want to show you. Watch the camera. Wait, let me see. I'm trying to see that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Okay, look. I want to show y'all this. He did a rally. And look at this. He did a rally in my city. Long Beach. I promise you, more media showed up than actual attendees. Look.
Amen. And I got to tell you, Mayor Richardson and the people. Thank you.
All these people who are here, they're union members. And, oh, shoot. I'm sorry, y'all. Did I mess up? Okay. So all these people here, right? They're union members. Hold on. I want to make sure I didn't freeze myself. So, yeah. I did something. I messed up something. My bad. So all these people, they're union members and they're paid. They're paid to show up to these things. They get their regular union pay to show up to these events. So look at his little tiny stage.
Thank you. I only wish my father were alive to have heard you say that, because he would love to hear his name, Becerra. Thank you all so very much. Long Beach, you in the house? Mayor Richardson? Rex Richardson? Long Beach is always in my house. Amen. And I got to tell you,
not a black face in the
Mayor
crowd.
Richardson and the people of Long Beach have showing the people that you are there for.
Look at the whole front row. The front row is all politicians and union reps. Look, all politicians and union reps. No, this is not organic
this
support.
Fight because we have to win it together. Worker.
That's why they're gonna keep the cameras on. Look at this. Somebody had took a picture of the rally from the back. So many chairs were empty. Look, all union members, city workers still in their uniform. Look, all union members, they all got paid to be there. But what I want to tell you is this: not even enough people even know who Javier Becerra is for me to believe that he's getting the kind of support he's getting. If you go to the average Californian and be like, who's Javier Becerra? They're like, we don't know. People were calling him Xavier Becerra. They don't even know who he is. Let me get this super chat. Shout out to Roger Wood for the first super chat. Guys, we can still meet our $5 challenge. We got one. We only need 4 more. Let's get it. Good show tonight. Just showing love. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the contribution. Dang, it's been a while since this channel got a contribution.
Get your ballots out! Take your mama to the ball! We're doing this Tuesday! We're making history!
Y'all, look at this. So just take away all the union members and the people who get paid, who are carrying the custom sign, not custom, but the mass-produced signage. Where are the regular people? I see all union members. You can see the little emblems on their shirts. You could see the other people in the back who showed up because they were like, yeah, you can get paid for an 8-hour shift. They're not even cheering. They're just like, I'm just here to get my money.
Thank you all.
They are hovering around those people with those orange shirts. But I'm trying to see where all the people are. This is a rally? This is a rally?
I only wish my father were alive to have heard.
I don't know why the hell I keep hitting that button by accident. Union members, union bosses. People getting bussed in. They already pulled this trick on us with Kamala Harris. They already pulled this trick on us with Kamala Harris when they were busting people in to make her rallies. I don't know if that music's gonna even copy. But they even have bro, if you have a real rally, why do you have the names of the organizations on the seats? So that tells you there's nothing organic about this. When Trump does a rally, it's like organic. I want y'all to notice this that y'all probably can't even see. Look at all these damn empty chairs in the back. Do you guys see all these empty chairs? Those were the chairs for the regular people who were not a part of the union audience. Look at all these empty seats. And this is my first time watching this video. But remember I told you somebody on social media, on Facebook, they took a picture from the back. And they're like, I'm at the Becerra rally doing security and no one's here. Look at all those empty seats in the back. I'm telling you, these people are like doing a stage production. That's why they got rid of Hollywood, because they became the new Hollywood. There's no one there. Oh, and then, let me show you this too, y'all. Let me show y'all this. This is the worst part. Let me show you the real damning evidence. Look at the view count. Look at the view count. 325 views, bro. Let's see if he has his own YouTube channel. Can I do this? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on. Are y'all, look at the screen. If you're not looking at the screen, I want you to look at the screen. Am I the only one who see this man only got 359 subscribers? Please look at the screen. They want you to believe that millions upon millions of Californians are like, yeah, we're going to vote for this guy. But he only got 359 subscribers on YouTube. Come on, y'all. This is bull. This is bull. He got 1 million views right here on a 16-second video. Yeah, all his shorts are doing 1 million views. All the shorts. But that's all he got is shorts. He don't have nothing where he's really explaining anything. Every video this man has is between 1 minute and 16 seconds long. How do you even know anything about him? How do you know anything about this guy? I'm telling you, man, California is a very strange page. Show what other pages. What other? Let me see. I thought this was shorts. I thought this was a shorts page, but this is actually his video page. So his shorts are shorter. I'm telling y'all, man, look at his shorts. You know this is inflated numbers, because look, all his actual shorts barely are breaking 1,000 views. I'm telling you. This guy is a fraud. Nobody knows who this person is. Now, this is the shorts. I want you to see that. Let's see what post he put up. Okay. He got a post from a month ago. 12 likes. 5 likes. 7 likes. 11 likes. Come on, bro. This is a joke. 1 million. They probably inflated these purposely. Just to bought some views on them. Just to make it look like bro got some motion. So in the past 13 days, he went from getting 1,000 views, and then even on his own thing 4 weeks ago. Now let's go from the 4 weeks mark. 4 weeks ago, bro couldn't break 1,000 views. He couldn't even break 500 views. Look. 4 weeks ago, 900, 300, 300, 400, 200, 200, 300, 100. 2 months ago, he got 9K. 100, 7 months ago. 88, 9 months ago. And then all of a sudden, this dude jumped from not even be able to crack 1,000. Next thing you know, 2 weeks after that, bam, 11 million. Then 114,000, 1.7 million, 3.7 million, 1.2 million, 4 million, 9 million. 7 million, 6 million, 6.5 million. Come on, bro. I could tell you just by social media presence, this guy is nowhere near as popular as people are trying to make him out to be. Tom Steyer spent $200 million. Understand that. And Javier Becerra's beating him, barely spending anything? Come on. Can anyone give me one memorable line or anything from Javier Becerra? Anything. The guy's a joke. He paid for the views. We all, if you know how social media and YouTube works, he paid for those views 100%. 100%. There's no way he didn't. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. If people really are rallying around you, you can make a video on YouTube and they're all going to rush to it. They're all gonna rush to it. That is so whack, guys. But look, I'm gonna get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed our little chit chat. I might get on here and chit chat with y'all more. I remember we used to just talk and chop it up a lot more on this channel. I need to get back to those days. I know people want to. I need to reconnect with my old audience, and I need to introduce myself to my new audience, so you guys can understand that I'm really a cool guy. I'm really a cool guy. I'm not just a jerk who talks trash. But thank y'all for watching this. I appreciate everything. I saw right through Steyer, and I know I can give you one look. No, for real. One view. Hey, nah, Steyer's trash, bro. That guy is probably the most untrustworthy person running. Steyer, he's friends with Greasy Gavin. He worked for Gavin. So I don't see how these people are getting 1 million votes. Like, I don't. But the crazy thing is, when you got a state of 40 million people and only like 4 to 5 million, or maybe, like 4 to 5, well, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 6 to 7 million are voting. That's the real problem. You got people who just are totally disconnected from the political process. And if you really want to know, that's how Democrats want it. They don't want people motivated to vote, because they know if people paid attention, they'll be like, I'll never vote Democrat. They want people staying home. But thank you guys for watching us. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves, but most importantly, do me a favor. Please take care of each other. Peace.